Listen to the Vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And I'm very happy to welcome Neal Rosner here, who has a new album out, and it's called Kentucky. We're going to get to know him and a little bit about the music. So let's kick this off right, man. Neal, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Originally born in Chicago, May 2nd, 1951. So I'm an older guy, but I've been making music in Kentucky. It's my hobby. It's my passion. I lived in Kentucky for about 12 years, and part of a job change. In my day job, I'm a radiologist. I'm a doc, and I had a change in my group. I was working in Chicago for a long time, and then I went to Kentucky. They traded me, they offered me a position in Kentucky, and I went to Kentucky, thinking like, oh God, I'm a Chicago guy, the biggest loser in the world, going to Kentucky, and it turned out to be the best thing for me, spiritually, emotionally, financially. Met wonderful people here. As I mentioned to you before, I grew up as a Jewish kid, but I got baptized in the first Christian church here, very liberal, wonderful Christian church, September 13th, 2015. And it was a full dunk baptism too. It was really kind of nice, and the water was nice and warm, but I made the mistake of inhaling as I got underwater and started coughing all over the place. But yeah, I've been very happy here. We still live in Chicago too. My family there. But the album is divided into two parts. Actually, it's a secular side and a religious side. I describe it as the secular side is plain, religious side is with peanuts. Like M&Ms. But spiritually, I said I was born Jewish, got baptized, and then unfortunately, I had a young son who passed away, and so let's say God and I have some issues right now. But that's what's going on. But I'm very happy with this album. I'm not doing it for money. I'm just doing it for love, and it's my passion. It's my legacy. It's one of my grandkids and stuff, and I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited to hire Glass Onion to do this, and here we go.
So are you going to continue to put out music, or is this?
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, first of all, musically, I've had I've done music for a while. I did another album, which will be Glass Onion will be promoting maybe next month or so, called Love Isn't the Answer, and that's recorded in Chicago. Then that's some songs from 20 years ago. And I didn't do anything about it, and then finally got sophisticated enough to use DistroKid to get it out in the stores, and like I did with this Kentucky thing, and then I was fortunate enough to get in touch with Glass Onion, and so I'm trying to promote as best I can. I'd like to eventually, just have the album out there. I'd like some people to buy it or streaming, But more importantly, I just want to get my name out there, and I'd like to use that to get, I'd like to get, we're playing in Chicago, but I'd like to get play at, some more better places, so that's why I try to do this. I also play with a band that's called McLuhan, after the Canadian philosopher Marshall McLuhan, and we recorded an album on Brunswick Records in 1972. Way before you was born, and then Brunswick Records was an African American black company and R&B company, and they wanted us to be their white band, their like Rare Earth, that kind of soul, but we weren't, and but the album was just prog rock, written by a fellow named Dave Wright. He wrote 3 or 4 songs, and didn't go anywhere. We were in college when this happened. But now there's over 100,000 views of it on YouTube. Other people have have pirated it and is doing it. So yeah, it's good. And it's if you want to listen to that too, just go on YouTube, look for McLuhan Anomaly, and it's really good instrumentals and vocals. It's it's good things. We play that when we play out live. We play the album and other covers, and we're gonna start playing my songs from the two albums in the next 2 months or so.
So how do you describe your music? Because I tried to compare it to other bands, and it's very difficult to hear a little bit of Steely Dan influence in there, maybe a little bit of Frank Zappa.
Yes, yes.
How do you
I think
describe it?
it's a broad spectrum. Um, I do like progressive music. But I like everything. The only thing since I've been in Kentucky, I love bluegrass. I'm not a big fan of most country music, but I do love bluegrass. We go to in Kentucky. There's a bluegrass festival called Romp in Owensboro, and we've gone there a couple times. And got to see some great people there. Got to see John Prine before he passed away, and it was very cool. If you want to start talking about some of the songs on the album too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The first song is called "The Choice." And so Eros Thanatos, life and death, and it was written because we have a choice in life. God has given us a choice in what we need to do, and so we do that. I also put a little bit of German in there. Song number two, "Apocalypse Chicago," a fanciful song about nuclear holocaust in Chicago. Number three, "Le Cirque des Enfants." I'm very proud of this one. This is a kid's song, a children's song. My wife is in that. She's doing some talking about animals. She does a chimpanzee and elephant imitation on there, and it's very cool. And we have some really good instrumentalists. There's a wonderful guitarist named Boscoe France from Kentucky, and he's plays on that, and he's just a terrific musician. Also on the musician, I have to give credit to our engineer. There's a guy down here in Kentucky, Steve Baker. I'm 55 years old. And he's a kind of famous guy around Madisonville, Kentucky. He's a African-American guy, and he was a football star back in the day. We call him Steve Baker, touchdown maker, or shake and bake, they used to call him. And then he got an ACL injury, and so forget about, because he was being scouted by Ohio State, but then now he got the music because he can't do that no more. And he's a very talented engineer, and we formed a partnership and and a love for each other, and it worked very good. So he's the engineer for this. Also co-producer, because he helped me with a lot of stuff too. Next song, "Francis." Now, there's a lot of culture down in Kentucky. There's some local movie companies, and this is a movie company called Big Biting Pig, and they have primarily horror movies. And this was written by the movie was done by PJ Woodside, who's the director, and I wrote the music for the song and for the movie. And I also hired PJ. She does the vocals, the duet with me, and it's one of the nice things. It's an interesting song because this one here, it's a combination of prog rock, and klezmer. You ever know what klezmer is? Klezmer is like Yiddish, a lot of clarinet kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of cool. The next one, I guess the engagement is off. It's written a long time ago. It's a breakup song. It's not. I think by today's standards, some people call it misogynist, but it's just that's a breakup song, and that's like that. But it also got some nice musical touches on it. Some kind of harpsichord piano, which I think is fun. And also Boscoe France is doing a heck of a guitar lead on that one as well. "Me, Myself, and I," a song about being alone, and social inadequacy. I think our other guitarist, I think Alonzo Pennington, is playing on that one. And I'll do a little bit of a side about Alonzo Pennington. He's famous down here as well too. Alonzo Pennington is from a musical dynasty family. His father is Eddie Pennington, and Eddie is the disciple of Merle Travis, one of the fathers of Kentucky thumb picking guitar.
Okay.
Like bluegrass. And Alonzo was actually his second Alonzo. The first Alonzo Pennington was 1830, I believe, or so far. Some people say he was some kind of a brigand, a wild man, and depending on who he allegedly committed a murder and then fled to Texas, and he was extradited back to Kentucky, and they tried him and they sentenced him to death. They're going to hang him. The first thing, the rope broke, and then he gets down and he plays a song on his fiddle called Pennington's Farewell. And actually, you can look at that. Look at YouTube, Pennington's Farewell. You can hear it. It's instrumental, banjo and violin. And then they hung him successfully. So this is a musical dynasty, down here. But it's very interesting. And Alonzo plays with us too. Sometimes, in addition to playing in Chicago, we also play down here in Madisonville, Kentucky, a little place called Crowded House. That's a great place. Got a great stage, good food, and I play there once or twice a year. We're supposed to play there again June 29th on a Saturday night. But getting back to McLuhan, we had to, we broke up, and now the thing's popular again. But we got together back again with 4 of the original 6 guys, and we started playing again in 2018. And it's kind of cool. The age range of the band, it ranges from 73 to 29. Our trumpet player is a little musical savant, Bart Coyle, and he's terrific. And we have some really good musicians in our band. But like I said, eventually I want to try to incorporate the album into our McLuhan stuff as well. Mikaja, okay, another movie song. There's another movie company called Fuller and Green, and they're out of I think they're out of Muhlenberg County, Kentucky, and this is that's a kind of horror suspense movie about America's first serial killers, the Harper brothers. They were really bad people. They're just anyway. But so I wrote the song for the movie, and it's kind of from the point of the view of Mikaja Harp, one of the serial killers. So it's kind of dark. Red and Blue, number 8. That was written after the 2016 election, and it's basically about my political divisions and my disdain for social media. But social media, it's a necessary evil. That's why we wouldn't be here. But it's kind of catchy, and it's some clever lyrics. So I'm proud of that one too. And Alonzo Pennington is playing guitar on that one. The Radical. Back in 1974, there was do you remember back when Patty Hearst was kidnapped?
Yes.
Okay, and the SLA kidnapped her. Okay, after that, there was the SLA, they were a terrorist group, and they had a shootout with the police in '74, and they all died and stuff like that. But this is written from one of the women in the group SLA, from her point of view during the killing, and I did some corny stuff to it. But we'll open it with with gunshots and machine gun sounds too, and then the song, and I think that's Bosco's playing guitar in that, Boscoe France.
I was a little kid when that happened.
Yeah. What price would you pay for another movie by Phil Foley by Big Fighting Pig? And this is they have 2 versions of this. One is the vocal, and one is the instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
The vocal is written for this thing, and they play the credits of the movie. The name of the movie is Who Lives in the Attic, or What Lives in the Attic. And you can all these movies you can see on YouTube too, for local movies. The instrumental version is a scene. It's a scene in a kind of perverted sex club. Okay, and my music, the instrumental, is going on through that scene too. And Boscoe France is playing the leads on that. He's doing a terrific job. Very, very creative guitarist. Do you want to go to heaven? This is going into my Christian side, or the religious side. The description of this is what I just told you before about my where I come from, being born Jewish, then getting baptized Christian, and facing a significant loss, and then testing my faith. But this is written for, and I performed this at church, our first Christian church here in Madisonville, Kentucky, which I'm very proud of. That's where I'm coming from right now. I'm in Phil's office. Number 13, Avinu Malkeinu. It's a very important Jewish melody, Jewish blessing, and you sing that at the high holidays. You see that at Yom Kippur, and
Mhm.
it translates into "Our Father, Our King." And but it's a very pretty melody. Other people have done it. I think Barbara Streisand did a version of it. Um, but I did again. Bosco's playing guitar on this, and I put a lot of harmonies in there and dynamics in it. So it's one of my favorite melodies. In the same vein, Psalm 19:14. This is written by my man King David. It's a psalm, and I use this I use this all the time for dinner and friends and stuff like that. But I made this into a nice um, a song for for the radio for people to listen to on the CD. Yeah, I can sing it if you want.
Sure.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, be acceptable in thy sight. Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Lord, my rock and redeemer. Amen. And when we do this at the table at dinner with my grandkids and stuff, we go, Lord, my rock. And they laugh. Have a good time doing that. Yeah. And what is God? Seed of Abraham. This was written for a movie that I made here when I first came to Kentucky with Big Bunny Pig. There's basically everybody's different religions having talking about God and what God is and what religion is. I had Muslims, Hindus, Wiccans, atheists, Jews, and and Christians and different sects. And it's a good movie. It's a good documentary. You can look at that on YouTube or Vimeo under Neal Rosner or What is God? Seed of Abraham. And there's the music song that accompanied it. And it's basically, we are all one. That's kind of what the song is. And then the last song, Western Kentucky, Come On Down. This is the first song I wrote in Madisonville when I got here and started working on 2012, and it's probably technically it's the most amateurish of all the songs, but it was my heart because I felt like here I am, I'm welcome to Kentucky, and this is very cool down here for Chicago by growing up. So, I hope you like it. It's a good thing, and the album cover is interesting. I don't know if I can see it here, but the album says Kentucky, and that's a picture of my wife Barbara, who's on the album doing stuff, and that was taken years ago. Barbara's daughter Carson was married to American. He's an Egyptian family, okay, and they're Muslim, and they're very very wealthy, and so the wedding was in Cairo, so we went in Cairo, and we're dancing, and our friend Rick Rapp took this picture, and it was blurry in motion, like an impressionistic painting. So we had a friend of ours named Skylar Mail, a young friend of ours, and he's an artist. And he did he made this into a portrait, and I think it's very cool. Looks like a French impressionistic painting. And let's see, what else can I tell you about myself? Let's see, I'm an old guy. I'm 72. I'll be 73 in May 2nd. Still relatively healthy. I'm still jogging and stuff and play the music. On the verge of fully retiring from medicine, but still helping out. Still working part-time. I have some financial obligations, like my late son's family and things like that. So I don't mind working. But eventually it's going to be just the less I work, the more music I can do. And so that's a good thing.
Has the death of your son, has that been the biggest hurdle in your life?
Absolutely. No doubt about it. I don't know if your situation is, but to lose a child is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. And it's been 3 years now. And the thing that helped me the most, number one, finding a good shrink. Okay. Two, Prozac, generic Prozac. Because that, I was so bad that when I would, the Prozac, you take one dose of Prozac and it disconnected the physical pain from the emotional pain, like a light switch. So it really worked very well. And the other thing that, it's sort of illegal now is cannabis. I do 10 milligrams of sativa chewies a day, sometimes 15. And My shrink and I argue about this. He says that cannabis is it's an intoxicant, not an antidepressant. I say bullshit. It's an antidepressant. It worked very well for me. And also, I'm a child of the '60s. I mean, I've been doing this stuff, smoking for a long time, but edibles are better. You don't have to ruin your lungs. So that's just. But yes, it is, and it's still with you. You can be sitting here and all of a sudden you think, geez, why didn't I do something different? What could I have done? What could I have done to save him? But that's, it's false. But I also learned from going to my shrink that probably I was a somewhat depressive, individual all my life. I found that I was also, I taught personal stuff. I was probably, my first marriage, I did the stupid man thing. I had a lot of extramarital partners. And once I started taking the Prozac, though, and I found my second wife, Barbara, who's wonderful, the urge, it cuts off the urge to do wrong, which is a good thing. But yeah, so I'm in a decent place now. It's still hard. What we're trying to get to is that the Brad's death triggers what they call the beast. My depression, I call it the beast. Okay, and it used to happen before Brad died. Sometimes where I just feel like, life sucks, not worthwhile. Why am I here? Doesn't matter. And that gives you inertia. You don't want to do anything. But those medicines, the Prozac and the cannabis, and the music, help me out of it. That's really good. It gives me great joy. And I've also had an epiphany sometimes when I see my grandchildren. Brad's got two boys, the Rosner boys, and the oldest one is Cole, and he looks like, it's really freaky. He looks like a spitting image of Brad. So it's sometimes I feel like he's being incarnated as Brad, but he's not. He's his own kid, but it fills me up. And so we were sitting at a music concert where Cole was singing in school, and I just realized, yeah, it's a bad thing that Brad is dead, but I can appreciate the joy of life with these kids right now. So that was a real good thing for me.
So, do you have a specific philosophy on music?
Yes, I'm not really a trained musician. I can read music, but like at a first grade level. I feel that some of us are given gifts. Some of us hear things, hear songs, and pick things out, and it's a blessing. It's a gift that I was given, and I enjoy it. And I feel like not Gershwin by any means, but I listen to Gershwin. I feel like I know who Gershwin was. So it's an egotistical thing, I guess, but I feel like somewhere down the line when I'm no longer here, people listen to my stuff and say, well, okay, now I know who he was. So it gives me great joy. Yeah,
It's really important to leave something behind.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. When my son passed away, we had I saw him the day before he passed away, and we had a very emotional um, conversation. I told him that I would take care of his family, take care of his wife, for the rest of their lives as long as I'm here. And I played a song for him on one of my old songs. It's gonna be probably one of the next CDs, called "Your Picture on the Table," and that was Brad's favorite song. And he was with it enough that he could pick up and he kissed my hand after I played for him. And then he was gone the next day. It was bad. He had bad cancer.
Oh no.
Like I
I'm
said,
so sorry.
like I said, take joy in the fact that they left me two wonderful grandkids, and I have a daughter too. She's got three kids. The oldest one is Hannah, and she's 15, almost driving, and and then we have the twins, Joey and Shani, and actually they're going to be bar mitzvah in June. I think if I'm lucky, we're going to have a party at my house, and maybe my band's going to play. McLuhan's going to play there, so we could kind of click.
Well, Neal, do you have a website?
I have a website for my band, McLuhan.band. And you get to see about the band and this and that. As far as the website for, I think I made a website, Neal Rosner songs, but the main website is for the band. And if you get in touch with the band or or just look at Neal Rosner on Facebook, both my regular site and I have Neal Rosner musician site, and then I have a page, and then I have a McLuhan page on Facebook too and Instagram. So that's where I am right now. Just if you want to have some contact information, just you need to get in touch with me, and my cell phone is 708-525-9014. And if it looks like I may not pick it up because it may look like spam, but and I'm also nhrosner@gmail.com. If you're interested in the album, I'd like you to stream these 2 albums if you can. If you want to get back to me, you can pick some of the songs from the albums that, either Love Isn't the Answer or Kentucky, and can contact me. Think what songs would McLuhan do well. Pick songs that my band would do well. We haven't done anything yet, but we're going to. And that's it. That's what I'm going to do.
Where all is the music available?
This one is available everywhere. Spotify, iTunes, Deezer or something like that. Apple Music. It's a nice thing. But DistroKid is like is it Bandcamp or I don't know. But
yeah, Bandcamp.
It's you pay them a couple bucks and they send all your stuff to the stores and it stays in the stores. A lot of the songs on here I have individually loaded, but just recently where I've got off my butt and I put them on as albums. So I have 2 albums on there now, and then as far as the McLuhan stuff, that's available just on YouTube. But you can it's for free. You can download it, or just to listen to it. And so it's still one thing that's kind of neat about the old album. It was recorded. The engineer was a guy named Bruce Swidian, and he went out to be the engineer for Thriller. So he's a pretty outstanding guy. And we also hired some local musicians back in 1972. One guy named Bobby Christian who played vibes for us and was really good. And it was a cool experience. I'm so glad. I'm just glad people. I'm glad people like the old band, and I'm glad people are starting to like my stuff as well because it makes me happy.
Hey, that's what counts, right?
Yeah, you betcha.
Neal, thank you so much for coming on my show. This has really been a blessing.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. When the next one comes out, let me know. We'll promote that as well.
All right, my friend. Thank you.
And also want to thank all you folks out there. If you are new to the channel, I hope you'll come back, hit that subscribe button. For my regulars, you guys are awesome because you make it possible for me to do this. Until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.